Welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. I am your host, the Goldsmith. It is the 26th of March, 2024. It happens to be a Tuesday, and it's another one of these days of very minimal announcements in Upland, but it's also one of those events where you have to keep your eyes open. What's this hand doing over here? I don't know. Upland, puts these official announcements out in these broad places. They suggest that we keep our eyes open for the Easter eggs, for the small things happening on the peripheries, the things that are happening on one location versus the other. What's going on in Twitter? What did Upland do in the official Upland announcements? Maybe there's something that shows up in Discord before it shows up in Upland. So a couple small things along the way that are definitely worth noting. And it is always worth keeping our eyes open every year for the season, the time of year where big announcements happen. We talk about Genesis Week always being a big vector, a big point and concentration of announcements for Upland. There's one other really important time of year for announcements for Upland as well. Actually, it could kind of, there can be kind of smaller ones as well, but NFT NYC has always been one where Upland tries to talk about the best parts of Upland, new features, what's coming up, what's next, what's around the corner, to a audience that may be inside of Upland, but it's more about speaking to people who are outside of Upland. And there's something very big that Upland is discussing or is working on releasing that is going to be intended to draw people from outside of Upland. And it's intended to bring people from outside of Upland to Upland who may not be in NFT gaming. Maybe they are in NFT gaming, but they're in the broader space. They're in the crypto space. They're in the broader NFT asset space. And that definitely is something that we have a couple feelers out. We know that's something coming. We're going to take a peek at Upland's Twitter in a little bit to catch some of those things, even though we don't have official announcements to look at. And with those little announcements along the way, we have a couple things to watch out for, of course. So we'll be looking at that. And secondly, just the teaser. We continue to have this little teaser with Upland, giving a little prizes and prompts in the Upland general chat. Keep in mind that in-game general chat is something that Upland is trying to build. I'm happy to see it. Discord continues to be a communication channel that Upland continues to maintain. More power to it. Love to see it continue to be there. The in-game chat allows for a larger variety of people to be in on that conversation. So fingers crossed that continues to grow and continues to bring new players in. And doing this at the time we're starting to do another, I would call a drive or a push or a potential player growth period. I think it's a good thing to have that venue to bring people in and kind of introduce people to the game. So we'll watch out what happens there as well. And we'll look at what Upland's doing as of today. So get the jump in here. All views and opinions expressed by myself, the Goldsmith, they're mine and mine alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They obviously don't represent the game or the team of Upland. Guests that we do have on, they have their own opinion. They're welcome to them. They are their own. They don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show, or the game of the team of Upland. They shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. With that out of the way, let's jump right over to Twitter. So if you're on YouTube, I'm going to pop this open. Take a quick look. If you don't watch the Upland Twitter, it's a good idea to get over there every once in a while. Just take a peek, because that is where they drop some of their best Easter eggs, most direct Easter eggs. And we also see that some of the announcements hit there, the real announcements, true announcements to the game of Upland before they hit Discord, before they hit in-game. So just keep that in mind. Definitely worth keeping our eyes out on. I want to go back here. Obviously, this got pinned last week, and it's pinned now. So this is what everyone should be seeing, or Upland wants everyone to see when they first drop into Upland's Twitter at this time. We have more info for you soon, but we just want to make sure you're all ready. Who is excited for the share and build airdrop? Key here is the hashtag airdrop. Obviously, the hashtag airdrop is about getting people excited from outside the Upland community. People see the hashtag of airdrop and in the NFT and the crypto space, and they say, what's coming? What's this? I'm going to research this. I like free crypto. I like free assets. So we are looking at again, Upland just started to put out this call for engagement. Talk about a little bit about, or we'll talk a little bit about what this kind of dovetails into. And we're gonna head right on down to it. Just a little fun things here. Upland teasing people for engagement. Always love a little bit of engagement. But here's the real thing, the real reminder of what time of the year, it is. And keep in mind, NFT NYC is a rolling thing. It's like every 10 months it's been the last few years, where it moves a little earlier every year. Exciting times. NFT NYC is 1 week away, and it's always the best event for fun announcements. Look at that ellipses there. It's like there's more they're going to tell us, but they just don't tell us. The at OMA3 DAO panel with Bloodybit and View from HK and Bitsama, Bisamadan will be led by Upland Me co-founder and co-CEO and co-founder Dirk Luth on open standards for cross-game portals. Interesting. Again, we know that Dirk Luth, the founder or co-founder of the Game of Upland, co-CEO of the Game of Upland, instrumental in OMA3. OMA3 obviously is independent, is a organization. Again, Upland or Dirk specifically is a founding member of, is a part of, but ultimately it is its own organization helping to build and organize this open metaverse. Again, Open Metaverse Alliance, go figure. But this Open Metaverse Alliance, the connection between multiple metaverses, and what really dovetails well in that and along those lines is going to be, what we're looking at building. Our Upland's looking at building here with Life in Upland. We know that is predicated a little bit on what can be done for alignment between multiple metaverses as far as Life's concerned. It's also going to be dovetailing well with this idea of potentially having cross metaverse tokens that have a value in one token, one ecosystem that may also have the potential of having a value or a utilization utility. Hi, Obi-Wan. Or being able to have one presence in one place, be ported in, or have some way of having utility in one place as well as another. That is something that would be really exciting. We happen to know that we have an announcement coming up. If we go up, just scroll up 2 here, we're waiting for that airdrop. We're waiting for the share and build event. We're waiting for more information about our Sparklet drop. So considering the two things contemporaneous of each other, considering this idea that Upland is putting this teaser, oh my gosh, we might have some real fun announcements for NFT NYC. Get ready, be ready. We see these calm before the storm moments. We haven't had any big announcements the last couple of days. Hi, California Trading Company. We haven't seen any big announcements in the last couple of days. Maybe we don't see one for tomorrow or the next day, but get ready for NFT NYC to potentially be a space for Upland to want to make those announcements. Maybe there's a announcement on the OMA3 front that puts a tie-in with Upland, puts that partnership front and forward, that we are going to have that chance for either directly in a panel or Upland to use the timing when we are where the team of Upland is, to push forward this whatever the announcement is. And again, there's two big announcements. One to push forward that really ties into OMA3 is going to be Life, the future of Life. What we were doing with totems, though, it feels like we've stalled a little bit on totems. That doesn't mean that Upland doesn't view them as a priority. It means that I wish my cycles had started again. I wish I had cycle 2 started. That may be 3 days around the corner. We don't even know. It feels right for at the start of a season. Maybe, I don't know. The last one was technically before we had seasons kick off. It was kind of the precursor. It was before our first new revitalized seasons. This idea of gamified earnings kind of jumped in for a season. And we, essentially saw all frost season, not really seeing any more cycle information, any more about our tokens, anything more about the steps towards STEM, anything about Protum. None of that was happening. But I think there's a possibility. There's a possibility that it's time to see that come back and pop in for this season that we're moving into for Blossom season, and of course, Sparklet right alongside it. Wouldn't be bad to see a double whammy announcement, but I expect something. I expect something because this ellipses, when we are pushing in for NFT NYC, it's a once a year opportunity to push out some announcements. Again, we know that the venue, the pomp, the circumstance of Genesis Week every year for Upland is another great opportunity to push announcements out. We'll get many announcements. That's just a couple months down the road, but getting a platform to be able to get people who are not familiar with your project to get excited about your project, something like a upcoming token drop, or an opportunity to get into the ecosystem, to build in or get ready for or earn placement in a token drop. That's exciting for a lot of people. That will bring in a new set of potential players into the game of Upland. And with that, I think that would definitely satisfy that ellipsis and that pregnant pause and what that could entirely mean there. So looking forward to seeing that and seeing how that comes out. And of course, it is something worth keeping our eyes out. Every single one of us here in Upland, I'll keep my eyes out as well. We'll have plenty to say about it because I'm sure we are going to see more. I'm sure we're going to get more information. Again, maybe a teaser as we get closer, but of course, that official announcement is going to be coming. And the in-game chat challenge, as mentioned, it is something that is kind of a way of incentivizing, a way of promoting, a way of building and facilitating conversation over in general in the game of Upland chat. Let's get ready for the conversation. Let's get ready for the conversation flowing over in the Upland general chat in-game chat. Of course, the general channel, this is called general channel, or just called general, obviously in the Upland in-game chat. Today's question: what do you think would be the perfect city to be released in Upland, and why? Remain engaged for your chance to win 10,000 UPX. It's one of those things that there is a randomizer that they're using. It is something that if you jump in and continue to be part of that conversation, theoretically you're going to have more chances to win. They're not telling you who's winning, how they're winning, other than you do see the individual identified when they've won. And again, if you're that individual, you get it dropped. You get the 10,000 UPX dropped into your account at some point in the next day or so after it's been selected. And some little suggestions along the way: Cape Town, South Africa, obviously to expand the game of Upland into the continent. We don't have anything in the African continent right now, so that'd be kind of cool, kind of decent suggestion there. We're seeing people talk about Canada. Obviously, there's a lot of players who are in Canada. When Upland's talked about where their player base is, obviously we've got a decent player base in Brazil. We've got a strong player base in the US. We've got a strong player base in portions of Europe and in Asia. And we have a strong player base in Canada, enough that it does make up a decent percentage, or a double-digit percentage of the overall players in the game. So yeah, something dropping in Canada would be interesting. We've already had international. We've had a few cities in South America. We've had a few cities in Europe. We've got 2 in the UK right now. And maybe Canada could be on that list. And the big one I've heard from a lot of people is Paris. Paris because of Olympics 2024. Paris because there's a lot of events that happen in Paris. We've got London. London, obviously, the quintessential UK city. Why not Paris? Paris in France. Why not the largest, most quintessential city in France as well? We'll see. We'll see how that sugars out. But again, it is nice to see people having excitement about their hometown. I like to see people also say, hey, I just really like this city halfway across the globe. I really like it. It would be fun to see that, to see a major city, a tier one. It would be fun to see a tier three for me, maybe a tier five. I like that if we can have a city with a reason. We talk about what's the utility of properties, what's the reason we have them. With South Lake Tahoe, we had a little bit of a different circumstance, where we're traveling by cars, and specifically the reason why we had it with cars is so we could have travel by cars. I don't know what the other reasons to be there are. I don't know if it's going to be a strong hotbed of having specific and getting into the city and having specific meta ventures in the city, knowing that you have to travel in and travel out to get those meta ventures. Perhaps there's going to be an incentive or a reason to be there. I would love to see some geolocating of events where we have seasonal events, maybe because we call this a resort town. Maybe at some point there's a reason for it to be a resort town. But I'd love to see a city with purpose, a city that brings something into the game again. We had the NFLPA cities previously. We've had other cities that were brought into the game because of an event that was happening at a certain time. We have cities brought in to bring in racetracks, to had cities in to bring in a partnership with Upland. Love to see the next city or a city come up shortly that's going to be like a snap your fingers. There's a reason why we gave it to you. We're giving this city because along with it is bringing this beautiful thing, whether that is a new function and feature, whether that's a new partnership, whether that is an event space that really enriches the game of Upland. I don't know, but I would really love to see something like that happen. That's my thoughts. But get yours into the game. If you are in the game of Upland, which theoretically you all are, if you use chat, which takes 2 seconds to make sure you're signed up with, you can get there, go into general, and put your thoughts in there. Again, there'll be at least one winner. Sometimes there's several to get the 10,000 UPIX just for going ahead and participating. If you don't get 10,000 UPIX for your participation on any given day, at least you're sharing your opinion, being part of that conversation. And it's always fun to see what other people have to say, other people's thoughts. Sometimes it can inform your own gameplay, and sometimes it's a place where people just go into the general, ask a question, look for an answer, and oftentimes, if you know the answer, you can be the person to give it. So that's pretty fun that we have this continue to be ongoing in the game of Upland. These suggestions, these little drops along the way, and an incentive by Upland to continue to do so. The 10,000 UPIX along the way, just to get people going. JJ, drink some water. Yes, I had a little bit of a cold. I'm trying to keep my voice going, and we'll continue. We'll continue to try to keep it going. Just for you, JJ. Otherwise, we're looking forward to a couple things over the next week. There's no question that there is this idea or this concept that Upland is pushing hard, that right around the corner, we will be starting the airdrop, the share and build event. We're about to start the Blossom season. Blossom season will start on April 1st. Will be interesting because we are officially, and hi Swarley, we are officially going to be coming into the first season that has followed the earn your dividend event, or the first gamified earnings that we're going to see in the game of Upland. It's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to surprise some people because as much as it was advertised, as much as it's been discussed, as much as there's people with opinions on both sides, people who were concerned about it and people who were glad about it, there's going to be people who are going to see their earnings change, who are not very active in the game of Upland, who come in once every month or two and are shocked that their dividends have significantly fallen. It is going to encourage people who get in that position to potentially be more active in the game if they want to have better dividends. It's going to push some people, I'm sure, to the points of complaints and threatening to quit the game of Upland. And it does happen all the time when we have new features. But it is also going to be an opportunity for the people who did put in the extra work to pat themselves on the back and take that extra little 0.5% annualized bonus for putting in the effort and finishing all of the tasks. Some people who complete all the tasks will say it wasn't that difficult. They got most of them on their own. They put a little more effort in. They got a little more engaged, and they get 0.5% annualized basis bonus on their dividends. And it's kind of cool to see that happen again. That stretch goal, that idea that you can play, 50% of the way or little less than 50% of the way. You might not do everything in the game of Upwind, but you're able to do 5 or 6 or 8 or 10. In my case, I did 9 of the tasks and get a reward out of it. You get reward because you didn't lose anything. You went from the 4.9%, which is what the new dividends are on the game of Upwind. You earned yourself a 3 times multiplier. You sat right at 14.7%, and you keep on playing the game of Upwind. We're going to get into Blossom season, and we're going to see the same thing. You're going to have new tasks, and you're going to have to do a percentage of them in order to keep the multiplier that makes you happy to get that 14.7%. Theoretically, Upwind could step down that multiplier slowly over time. Theoretically, you can still earn a decent multiplier, but dividends have always been advertised as potentially going down over time, aka you may start to see at some point the dividends come down a little bit. But I think the experiment worked. I think there were some accounts that did not earn the 3 times multiplier, meaning they're getting a lower dividend, which means less dividends are getting paid out. Some people are making a little more dividends, which is great because they were active in the economy by participating in those tasks. They were completing and they were competing and they were part of the overall ecosystem. But for the people who are willing to put in a little bit of effort, or the people who are already putting in an effort, they were already playing the game actively, they were already in daily, they were already participating in most parts of the game, if not all parts of the game, they didn't see any loss. So if that is all the case, maybe we'll see a delay in when Upwind has to step down the dividends. But just keep in mind that it's still a possibility. We have more to learn when we get into the season about how gamified earnings are going to be applied in the new season. And keep in mind, Upwind has already given that caveat that it may change from one season to the next. It will be something they continue to monitor. It will be something that continues to change. And I fully and wholly expect at least some of those tasks to have changed. There are going to be the opportunities for Upwind to encourage people to do specific things at specific times of the year. When Upwind brings in something new into the game, a new feature, maybe they incorporate that more. Maybe traveling with car between city is going to be on the list. Maybe you're going to have to travel between multiple cities with your car if you want to complete one of those tasks. If you don't own a car, it's going to be hard for you to get all your tasks done. If you do own a car, you may be able to get all the tasks on the list. Maybe there's something else on the list that's new that requires you to expand your game of Upwind. But of course, the key thing, the important to know is even if you can't complete all, I expect, and Upwind has kind of said, that there is going to be a decent reward if you get most of the way there. We're now looking forward to that continuing to be the case. Other things that are going to be worth noting for Blossom season is we have a couple of approved Blossom ornaments that are being made that are UGC. There was very few available from last year, and we are going to see Upwind likely have a Blossom season event or a Blossom season Upwind produced structural ornament that comes out later. The UGC side of things, I'm going to put a big suggestion here because we know we have contests on the seasonal basis because of the new organization of seasons, because of the new organization of gamified earnings. I would love to see more of our UGC, more of our structural ornament designs. Think about 2 seasons ahead or 1.5 seasons ahead, so get the approvals in time. And I want to see a bigger variety. I want to see the structural ornament manufacturers, the structural ornament designers have some success. But I'd love to see Upwind. You gotta prove them. They gotta get when they get out there. Upwind has to approve them. We have to have plenty coming into the market, so there's a distributive effect, so we can have good competition, so we can see people really competing to get to the top of those leaderboards. And we saw a great fight in the executive side. The executive leaderboard was the most competitive overall, of course. The chief executives, I mean, I don't want to say shame on you, chief executives, but shame on you, chief executives. That wasn't a deep leaderboard. that wasn't a leaderboard where there was a ton of competition up front. There was a couple people who ran away with it and said, where it's worth it because I want to be, one of the 10 who gets their name in the hat to get pulled to get myself a landmark, which more power to you. Go ahead, get it done. But the majority of the people were lower down than or had less overall structures decorated than people who were executives or theoretically lower sized accounts, smaller sized accounts. So love to see a little bit more of that invigoration this season, this time around. But it is a great opportunity to see what the tasks are, to be involved in the game. And again, if Upwent's putting prizes out to do different things along the way, participate and win those prizes as you go. We'll keep our eyes out to see if a new cycle starts for totems. Of course, we're going to be looking for Sparklet this season. Of course, I would be surprised if we got a couple weeks into the season without seeing the Sparklet announcement, the Sparklet airdrop announcement, and NFT NYC is a great opportunity for Upwind to make some of those announcements. With that, I am going to look forward to the rest of this week, look forward to any announcements that Upwind chooses to drop. But for tonight, thank you so much for being here. Anybody who is in the Upwind Cafe, feel free to be part of the conversation. Unmute your mics, and the floor is yours.